Welcome to That's Canon, the podcast talking about the canon film series and other similar movies. This is episode 55, and I'm Phil.
And I'm Greg.
And Greg, you are the reason why we watched. I mean, we were eventually going to watch this one, right? But you're the reason why we watched it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I gotta take some of the blame for this one. You did give me a choice, and I chose poorly.
We're just pushing off the inevitable of America 3000.
Thousand.
Now, like, what a movie. It's a post-apocalyptic. What genre did this fall into?
This is the Mad Max. What the hell am I talking about? Mad Max ripoff genre, which I would argue is its own subgenre. Just this, like the dusty, shot in the desert, cheaply made post-apocalyptic ripoff of Mad Max.
I think you had it right. Mad Mask. It's ripping off Mad Max, and it's a comedy like The Mask. And when I say The Mask, I mean the Eric Stoltz movie, not the Jim Carrey one. Because
I'm beautiful.
Did you? I laughed a few times. And maybe it's not a comedy, but I laughed a few times audibly, not in my head, because of the shit that they were saying in the movie.
Yeah, it was definitely not. It was one of those cases where you were definitely laughing at the movie, not with it, like not at the jokes that they're doing. You're laughing at the movie, because I did the same thing. There was a couple like audible chuckles of me laughing at the movie because it was just so. I use this word a lot when we talk about these movies, but stupid. It's just stupid. The language, the stupid vocabulary, it's just stupid.
Oh man, yeah.
We'll talk about the vocabulary for sure.
Did you scanned this movie this morning, right?
Oh my God. I will neggy forget this movie.
many portos and fraus.
Oh my God.
We're in this scan.
I am about to unplug a Thunder Rock and blow myself up right now, just talking like this.
The dialogue must have been so hard to say, because like I get where they're coming from a lot of it, from like we're in the future post-apocalyptic sense, but I don't also get why they're saying some of the words. Like they're saying scan instead of view or see. I don't get that. I don't get I don't get how they would say scan.
Like, because again, this is where it's ripping off Mad Max, because those movies all had a little bit of that. Like, remember, like in Fury Road, there was like guzzling. Like there was always like a little bit of like word weirdness because of it's a future vocabulary change. But this
I just figured it's because they were fucking Australian.
That's just how they talk.
I just chalked it up that they were saying that's how they say with the accent gasoline, like, oh, we got to get the gasoline. Because they say macacas over there for McDonald's.
The Macas?
Macas.
Macas. Yeah, like either way, like Mad Max, whether it's real Australian slang or not, there's always a little bit of that. But this movie took it to 11 and then broke off the knob and ate it and spat it in your face. Like, it's just way too much nonsense future dialogue that makes it.
They wouldn't have said spat. They would have said something else. Mouth shoot. I'm gonna mouth shoot.
Gonna mouth shoot it at you.
What?
Scan it. If any people are actually still listening and haven't already turned off this episode because of all the annoying shit we're saying, like, imagine a whole movie of people talking like we're talking right now. That's what we were in for with America 3000.
Yeah, and before we get into it, it's interesting that you say like that's how they talk in it. I would say that there's very little actual dialogue between characters. It is the primary audio track is a fucking voiceover.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you at the end, but did they make this movie, then watched it and went, no one fucking understands what we're doing, and then they added a voiceover to it? I think that's what they did.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're right because they realized that they went probably like they realized what we just said, where they went a little heavy on the future speak and realized that test screens, if they even did them, or even the people who were editing it had no idea what the fuck was going on. And they were like probably shitting their pants, panicking. Like, oh my God, no one's gonna understand what the hell's going on in this movie.
Yeah.
We need a voiceover quick.
No one understands what a test scan is.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean we'll chime in on it as we go throughout the movie, but the narration is easily one of the most annoying things about this movie.
It's annoying 100%, but it elicits most of the enjoyment as well. It's annoying because it's like constant throughout, but the shit that they make Chuck Wagner say is fucking insane.
I scan
And
it.
yeah, let's scan it. America 3000. It opens up on the words, and I had to write it. I wrote it down, and it was also really hard to see because we're watching a VHS rip.
Yeah, I could because it's like yellow titles on like a cloudy sky background. I could I'm glad you wrote it down because I could not read that shit.
900 years ago, after the great nuke, the world man created, he destroyed. Out of the darkness and ignorance of the radioactive rebel emerged a new order, and the world was Wagos. In old speak, that means crazy.
Wagos.
That just
Okay,
sets up.
because I'm glad you wrote it down because I was trying to read through and I was like, what the hell is that word? Waggy, and it was like gone before I could figure out what it was. Little did I know it was one of those stupid vocabulary words that we were gonna get shoved down our throats
That they use quite a bit
constantly.
in the movie. But yeah, then the movie opens up and like it's like guitars wailing, not what I expected
Yeah,
from the
it's
movie.
like heavy metal, like 80s hair metal music, which actually is actually not bad. I kind of like the music in this movie because it's kind of like a heavy metal soundtrack, but it does not fit what you're seeing on the screen whatsoever.
Exactly. And as so we're seeing like a bunch of slave kids essentially being led by a horse through the desolate outback of Denver. They're in Denver.
Denver today.
Yeah. And it's as soon as the voiceover started, I honestly thought it was the intro guy on the video who was kind of like just talking about the movie. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's fucking ingenious to like layer commentary over the film. And then I realized, no,
No,
this
this
is
is in the
actually the
movie.
movie.
That didn't even occur to me that might have been the guy who's like doing the commentary in the beginning. That honestly that would have been annoying, but less annoying to me than what we actually got. I hated that voiceover as soon as it came on.
Same here. And they, in this exposition heavy introduction, they essentially say, okay, the world nuked itself, and now in this future, women are in charge of everything, and they're referred to as fraus or women. I guess it just doesn't really matter. And
Yeah.
then men, no one knows the word for man anymore, even though it's part of woman. Men are referred to as plugits or plugots,
Plugots, yeah.
which I don't get. I don't, how? What is that?
Yeah. The rest of the weird language you can sort of figure out how they got to it.
Yeah,
Like,
scan is like seen.
yeah, but I was trying to I'm glad you were confused too. I couldn't figure out where they got plugots from.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. I even Googled the word and it doesn't show up. Like it shows up in other things, but like nothing that you would.
Like
Delta
those
mustard
letters.
pluggets horseshoe stud plugs.
What?
Yeah, it's like something for horseshoes.
Even Google's probably like, what the hell are you searching for, dude?
Yeah. Oh, they're not even called plugots. They're called pluggets. They're the things that you put in the horseshoe where you nail it in.
Oh. So okay, yeah, like Google's just trying to like match the letters, but like we don't even know how it was spelled. I mean, we're just trying to like sound it out from what we heard in the movie, but
It doesn't make
Yeah,
any, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so essentially men are relegated to the term plugats, and there's three types of men in this world. There are slave workers,
machos,
machos. God damn, that sounds so stupid. There's inseminators,
cedars.
seeders,
Yeah, they're the breeding stock basically.
and then there's toys, which I guess just brings entertainment to the women.
Yeah, like we didn't really see the toys doing much. They're just kind of like what we assume they're like just kind of like the jesters. They're pets, yeah, basically.
And yeah, so then we're introduced to Gruss, who is, I guess, he's one of the two male leads. And I was kind of confused at first because I guess we do a giant time jump in this, but Gruss will is a little boy right now, and they're kind of being sized up, and it's weird because these women are 100% choosing like 15-year-old boys to be cedars and shit.
Yeah, that wasn't lost on me either because yeah, it's like they've got like them in a lineup. They've led them into this the female like the tribe, and yeah, they're like assigning them the roles, one of the three roles, and yeah, they're. I mean, there were like one or two adults in there, but yeah, they're like I would argue they were less than earlier than 15, like 12, 13 tops kids. And yeah, so they're like sizing them up. One of the ladies like takes her knife out and like slashes the kids like the scrappy rags that he's wearing, and
Yeah.
basically strips him naked, and is like looking down and like there's a shot of like all the women like looking down at the crotch area and like this is a cedar. It's like oh my god,
The woman with the knife is the current tiara, which
the,
means she's the queen of this female tribe.
the tiara.
The tiara. See,
But they
I
don't wear
get
a
that.
tiara.
Exactly, Greg. I get why they call her a tiara, but she's not wearing a tiara. It's signified by a necklace that they wear that
Yeah.
she's the tiara. What the fuck?
I don't know. You'd think that they would like have some kind of little like cheap crown to wear the tiara. They don't know what it means. They just repeat the word. I don't know, man. It's
It
the
doesn't make,
future.
yeah, exactly. I will give the movie this, despite it being set in the far post-apocalyptic future, and that the women, tribe, they are all fully clothed, and there is no gratuitous nudity in this movie, which I am
Yeah.
abundantly shocked by.
Oh yeah. Same here. I made a point of it in my notes at the end where I was like, wow, like that was shockingly tame and tasteful because yeah there were no rape scenes, there's no nudity. I mean this is a straight PG-13 movie, I think.
I would almost be willing to bet, as they're making it, they're realizing it's not violent enough for an R rating,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's kind of boring. So that's why there's certain aspects of the movie that's so campy and zany that I would almost assume that this was
Oh
like a almost marketed towards kids.
yeah, that was something I was thinking about too, is like who the audience is for this, because you're right, it's not violent enough, or there's no like TNA appeal for the weirdos out there. Like there's not enough for like an adult male audience. So that's kind of what I was thinking too. It was like is it aimed at maybe not like kids, but like the 8 to 13-year-old, like older boy range, like to see it on cable during the week on the weekend.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it appealing on to that demographic.
This was 100% a movie that aired on the USA Network in the early 90s on a Sunday. And like
Oh, absolutely. This thing
some
probably did great on cable.
oh yeah, exactly. Eventually Gruss and his friend Corvus, despite being like 12, 13-year-old boys, they take on the woman tribe, and like they like overpower them despite being children. And these women obviously being like skilled warriors, having bows and arrows and daggers and other,
Those little handheld crossbows that they use like throughout the movie, which I thought were
exactly.
pretty cool.
But these two kids, they escape with relative ease.
Yeah, and they just kind of let them go. You'd think that they would be like I mean, their property essentially. You'd think that they'd be hunting them down to get them back.
Because
I was,
remember they get to the point where it's like they enter, I don't know what it's called, like the no zone. Like the women can't go
oh, that's
into the
right.
no zone because
Yeah,
as we find out, it's Camp Reagan, which is like a military installation, and the women are anti-military. It's almost like this movie tried to have a message,
like an
but
anti-war message.
yeah,
Yeah,
but they just were so fucking bad at doing this that they couldn't get the point across.
I'm amazed you got that much out of it. I just thought it was kind of like hand waved. Oh, it's a forbidden zone. There's always a forbidden zone in these stupid movies, and we eventually figure out why. But
I
like,
mean, there's forbidden zones in non-stupid movies. They had that in Planet of the Apes, right? In Planet of the Apes Part Two. I
oh
guess that
yeah,
Planet of the Apes Part Two was kind of stupid because that's beneath the Planet of the Apes, where Charlton Heston shows up for like 1 second and he's like, "Fuck you guys," and then he blows up the world.
and then they all die.
Okay, you know what?
It is a stupid thing.
It's stupid. It is a stupid rule.
But yeah, like I didn't even get that they were trying to have like an anti-war message. I just thought it was a plot device so that they had so that the kids could get away and we could transition to them as adults later.
Um, Forgot to mention that the movie was created by David Engelbach. This is his only director credit, but he has written a few other movies, one of them being Death Wish 2.
Oh,
So
interesting.
he
Canon gave
does
him another
have
shot.
talent. He has talent. He just doesn't have a lot of talent.
No, I could.
Um,
It's funny. I could see as I was watching towards the end of the movie, I could start to get the feeling that like this was someone's passion project because there definitely a lot of like effort put in certain places, and I definitely got the feeling like this was someone's like cool idea for the future. And how much you want to bet that that's this guy? Like he had a big idea. He went to Golden Globus. Hey, give me a shot. Give me some money. I can make this movie. It'll be great. And then he just failed.
yeah, he's like, I wrote you Death Wish 2, man.
Come
I
on,
made you
man. Give me
fucking
a shot.
money. I'm the reason why
Yeah.
Charles Bronson is one of your stable of actors.
So like unlike most of the people who worked for Canon, they didn't have the dick pics kind of blackmail on this guy. He went to them with a bad idea.
Exactly. He's offering up his dick pics
Yeah, that's true.
and they're saying
It's collateral.
no. They're like, we don't want your dick pics,
Nah,
dude.
man. We've got better dick pics in our library of dick pics.
Golan's like, get your fucking dick out of here.
Oh, I watched that movie.
Yeah, some weird fucked up like Ed Wood-esque movie.
I want to get America 3000 made. How many
The
dick
make-
pics do I gotta find?
the making of America 3000 and like in like parentheses the movie no one ever saw.
Oh,
And again, like the movie moves pretty fast in the beginning. The two kids they find a trunk
Mhm.
and out they pull a top hat. And like one of the kids put them on. I don't really know their names, or they're just like eventually they turn into real men, and they're just pretty much like Beefcake 1, Beefcake 2.
Yeah, I found that you mentioned before the transition from when they were kids escaping from the women to like the quote unquote now where they're adults. That was really hard to follow. Like usually there's like a fade out or something, or like even like a title like 30 years later or whatever it is. They give us something because like I thought they were different characters at first for a while actually until I saw the guy wearing the hat.
Yeah, Gruss could have said like, oh, it's been 30 years, right?
Mhm.
So they find a top hat and a ABC book, and from looking at the phonetic mouth movements, one of the characters is able to teach himself how to read and become intelligent, because it seems like these kids weren't able to speak at all.
Yeah, they definitely. You mentioned Planet of the Apes. That was actually a good comparison because they've got like the same like issue in this movie where like all the men just like don't know how to talk. It seems like. But they apparently they all taught each other from that one ABC book, which is so stupid. Like, there's no way that you could sound out words having never seen the alphabet before, just based on some stupid pictures. No way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is where we meet our two main characters. There's William Wallace, who plays Gruss. He's the
Mhm.
one who does the voiceover throughout the entire film. But I would almost say that he's the second lead in this film. He's not like the primary lead.
Yeah, he's sort of like I feel like this is a trope, right? There's always like a chronicler character who's sort of like he's always around the main characters so that he can tell the story, but he's not the main character himself or herself.
Exactly.
There's always like one of those. So yeah, he's sort of like the right hand man of the main character, Gruss, right? He's the main guy.
Yeah. No, Corvus is the main guy.
Corvus, yeah, Gruss is the narrator. Yeah, Corvus.
Gruss is played by William Wallace, who was in an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation,
Yes,
hiding
he
Q,
was.
as 24-year-old Wesley Crusher. Apparently,
Yeah,
we've seen this guy
he
in
was
the
in
Delta Force as
Yeah,
Pete Peterson.
yeah, man. He was like the kid soldier who looked up to Chuck Norris and then died at the end.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yep,
Wow. Holy
that
shit.
was
It's
him.
all coming together. And we'll see him again in the Michael Dudikoff led Avenging Force.
Oh my god, Michael Dudikoff. I don't. He's like this guy, the adult Wesley Crusher. He's like the most like macho looking guy ever. He's like huge. I don't know why they cast him as sort of like the storyteller because he does not look like the storyteller type.
Yeah,
He's bigger than the main character.
he is. I don't fucking get it. And the other guy, his name is Chuck Wagner, which that's an awesome name. That sounds like
Chuck Steak,
it sounds like a 70s 80s
porn
era
actor.
yeah, exactly. Actor in quotes.
Yeah.
The guy didn't do too much, but he had a short-lived TV series called Automan, which I've never
What?
seen, but it sounds insane. He's a computer-generated superhero, and his human creator
Ugh.
fight crime together. This TV show was from the fucking early 80s. It looks like they're aping off the success of Tron.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering where that inspiration came from because I would doubt that they were, talented enough to come up with it on their own.
Inside the show, one of the other actors is Desi Arnaz Jr., who is in that Canon
Really?
film. What was it called? What was the Canon film with all the horror actors?
Um, Hang on. It was House of the Long Shadows.
House of the Long Shadows. Exactly. It's a full circle. It's a full
Wow.
circle.
It's a canon family. It's all about family.
If it sounds like we're vamping to occupy all the time, it's because there's not a lot to talk about in this movie.
Okay. Actually, I've got something else we can rabbit hole into. Why are these guys who are basically like scavengers? Why are they so huge and well fed? Like, how did
Animals.
these guys? Okay, mystery solved. Continue.
It's you're not seeing it. That's from the R-rated cut that you don't get to see because they wanted to market it
Oh,
to children.
that's
They
true.
are fucking eating the weak men.
They cut out all the cannibals. Okay, so here's what they're doing. Remember, we talked about the toys, right? They're like the
Yes.
kind of the weak ones. They're not good enough or big enough to be able to be used as cedars or the macho guys doing work. They're the twinks.
Yes,
They're capturing the twinks and eating them.
exactly. 100%.
Okay, release the cannibal cut. I want to see that movie.
Hashtag release the cannibal cut. But yes,
Oh, man.
somehow these beefcake macho men teach themselves to read from an ABC book, and then that leads them to have the intelligence to lead a revolt against the women. They also talk about how there's another tribe of men that are just, I guess, apparently dumber than a box of rocks, but it literally goes nowhere. They have one scene where these dumb men attack the women
Oh yeah, they
and
like
win.
ambush a convoy.
they win. They like beat the women despite them having weapons.
Which, I mean, this is kind of like a touchy subject, but like, how would a civilization like dominated by women, like how would they be able to survive without like brute force to like in this kind of like low technology status? Like you'd think that the men are, is it just because they're so dumb that they don't understand that if they band together they can overpower them? Is
Man,
that what's keeping it from happening?
I was thinking of how to have this conversation
Yeah, I don't know.
without me sounding like
Sexist
men would,
assholes, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like men would fucking steamroll them so hard,
Yeah, which
right?
and that's what makes me like think that like they could have gotten around that thought by having like macho guy, like the macho cast, like having them as like slave soldiers, like they're the muscle and they're just they keep them on leashes and they're brainwashed. They're like too stupid to rise up.
They're
Like
too
that
stupid
would
to
have
rise
solved
up,
it.
or they're too like placated to care, right?
Yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
remember
They're
in
treated
like
so well.
what was it, War for the Planet of the Apes, like the gorillas are treated way better than the orangutans and chimps, and that's why throughout the movie they're kind of like, fuck you, the humans treat me well, I don't care about you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's there's a they have some derogatory term for them. But yeah, like they're all like working for the humans. Yeah, you'd think that they would like they would have something like that in this movie where like there was like a they were like the guards, the soldier cast that they would, do all like basically like do like a lot of the fighting for them.
Exactly, because as we see, it only takes one smart man to essentially go like, dudes, we're wave. This sounds
It's
horrible.
it sounds so horrible, but that's this movie's that's such a stupid message.
Exactly. It only takes one man to go, we could literally kill all of these fucking women tonight.
Yeah, from an ABC book. They
From an
learned this from
AC.
an ABC book. It's such a stupid message. Like it's a cool idea, but you need to have intelligent like hedges against these kinds of things. Like you need to have good answers to those kind of like obvious questions. Like and then but also don't put scenes in the movie where these like malnourished cavemen dudes, with no planning or forethought whatsoever, overpower like an entire well-armed convoy of the women tribe. It's such a
Exactly.
stupid thing to do.
They even the dumb men end up killing the current tiara. They just like stab her and
Oh yeah.
she's like, oh shit. And then they take her back to the tribe and she makes her daughter the next tiara.
Yeah, there's a little bit of tension in that scene, which I you knew that was coming. There's like two sisters they introduced earlier, and coming in the future, they're all grown up, and they're it's always there's a little bit of tension when the current tiara she's like about to hand the little necklace thing to one of her daughters, and the younger daughter, the power hungry one, thinks it's going to come to her, but she gives it to the older, like more kind of like tempered daughter, kind of cool, level headed daughter instead. Oh, there's
Yeah,
some tension there.
a little bit. You couldn't really tell because I don't think any of these actresses really know how to act. Um,
No, we should mention that the new Tiara, the older sister, is what's her name? She's the lead for Maniac Cop.
she is. She's Lauren Landon. She's from
Yeah,
Maniac Cop, the first 10 minutes of Maniac Cop 2. I like she's all right. I'm not gonna say like she's a horrible actress. She has a niche. She fills it really well with what she does.
yeah,
Right?
she's by far like by far not the worst actor or actress in this movie.
No, it's her sister. So Lauren Landon
Yeah,
plays Vina, and then I can't even her sister was Lakala? Again, these
like
names don't make any
Lakella,
sense.
Lakala, something like that.
And she's played by Victoria Barrett, who was another canon star in Hot
Really?
Chili as Victoria.
Oh, who is Victoria? Was she the tuba, like the music instructor?
She was the cellist. Yes, the
Ugh.
naked
The
cellist.
naked, yeah. Oh, of all other canon credits to have on your resume, it's hot chili. Ugh,
It's hot fucking chili.
just the
Ugh,
worst.
ugh. So as the current tiara dies, arises a new one. As they attempt to save the tiara by getting the red cross, and they chant red cross, red cross. It's a medical box, and they just make her drink something.
It's like it looks like they're like mixing something with blood and it turns green and she just drinks it.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell that is. I did say of all like the stupid like future speak where they don't know what they're saying, but they're repeating familiar words. I kind of liked like the chanting of red cross, red cross, red cross.
because that actually makes sense. That's like
Yeah, that
one
they
of the
would.
few things that does make sense in this movie.
Yeah, because it's like you can. It's an understandable bit of like superstition where they would come across old med kits and they don't know why, but the things in there just work.
Exactly.
they make you feel better, and they would just like idolize repeat some word as if it's like a prayer or something. That kind of makes sense. I thought that was cool.
And then in comes two other women from a different tribe, and they quickly assess the situation. And they're like, the previous Shara died. There's the new one. The sister wants the power. We can cause strife if we poke the goat, right? Essentially, but it takes
Why
them
though?
exactly. There's no reason for them to do this because there's no power struggle. There's never a moment in the movie where they're like, we're low on resources.
Yeah, right. Like there's no scarcity. Like I mean, I'm sure there is, but it doesn't come up as a plot point. Like why would this other these emissaries from the other women tribe that would like they don't say that they're at war with them. They welcome them in as travelers.
Yeah,
Like why are they the bad guys, I guess? Like what motivation do they have to sow strife in this other tribe?
I don't know.
Because the movie needs to happen.
Because the movie needs to happen. And again, like you said in the beginning, that this was someone's passion project. And I have to kind of agree with you because one of the women's names that comes from the different tribe is Freya. And Freya,
That's like a real mythological character,
yes,
isn't it?
is a Norse mythological character. She is Freya is like the keeper of, so like when you're a Norseman and you die, you can go to Valhalla, or you can spend time with Freya in the fields, and she like that's just another resting place for warriors in Norse mythology.
Okay. See, yeah, like someone there's a little bit of thought there into how they name the characters. I mean, of course, it's also names like Gruss, like stupid names, but someone put some thought into that character name to like think just having the thought to like open another book and bring something in from real mythology. There's like lazy script writers don't do stuff like that.
Exactly. That takes thought and care. That must have been like a co-writer that never was seen or something like that.
Some research assistant, some
Uh,
intern.
yeah, because as the movie trods along, essentially they burn the old tiara and the new one takes over. In it, some old hag of a woman is like,
The old crone.
exactly. She's like, the world is only good because women inhabit it, and because those fucking men are plorgos or ploggets. I don't know. And we have to keep them down because if we don't keep them down, then we're going to go back to the Great Nuke.
The Great Nuke. Oh yeah, because so like she's exposition grandma because she also gives us tidbits about the past. Like there was, I think they actually this is the first time they mentioned like America by
Yeah.
name. She said like, oh, the Americas and the commies let loose their nukes fly, blah 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 blah, to like explain how they got to this.
She like tries to speak in this this prose type speech where the words that she's saying are so important that they flow, right? Like you said, like they let their nukes fly or let loose the nukes, and what she's trying to say is deep, but it's only as deep as a kiddie pool
Yeah,
because it just really goes nowhere.
again it's pepper it's all that stupid like future lingo is sprinkled in and it's just hard to take seriously.
Exactly, because it's just more laughable than anything.
Mm-hmm.
uh as they watch the burning body go to ashes, the two new women from the other tribe go to their tent, and they like reconspire
A
against this
scheme.
current tribe. And I gotta tell you, Greg, because I didn't know what rating this movie was, I thought we
Oh
were
my
about to get
god.
a sex scene.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I thought the exact same thing
The
because the
way that
way that
Oh, go ahead.
she lays on the
Yes.
bed, right? She like the main bad girl. She's like I think the brunette one, right?
Yeah.
She like lays on the bed all seductively, and then the other woman like approaches her like and then like stands between her legs on that side of the bed. Is like, oh my god, like are we gonna get? Is this movie gonna turn into a canon movie right now? But
Is
it
this movie
didn't.
a blue movie? Yeah, exactly. That scene was very erotic.
Yeah, and
Um,
it had no business being that way, except for the fact that it's a canon movie.
exactly. It was I will say knowing that they don't have sex, it is very tastefully done to imply that these two women are amorous with
Our
each other.
lovers, yeah. Release the cannibal and smut cut where they actually have sex in the tent.
Exactly. Give me my sextant. But so yeah, they don't have sex, and then the new Tiara talks with her friend, and she's talking about how it's her season to be seeded, and the Tiara is like, "Don't worry, we're gonna get you someone clean to seed you."
Yeah, it's like something that they're it's like a gross thing, like they're afraid of it, but it's like they have to like it's something they just have to do when they reach a certain age or something. Ugh.
The next day, the men have invaded the camp because now they're smart because they can read, and they know that because the Tiara has died, all the women would be drunk and tired, so they can take advantage of the situation and release all the men, which they do.
It's like
Except,
too easy.
yeah, it's too easy. Except for one of the guys opens up a cage, and out comes a giant fucking Yeti.
The Sasquatch. He is spoilers, my favorite character in this movie.
He Okay, first off, yes, 100%. He is the best character in this movie, but he also does nothing in this movie besides
Comic
comedy,
relief. Yeah.
comic relief for no tension. And that's why this movie is so weird. Like he cuts in like a comedic character like waka waka waka, but the scene doesn't need any relief of tension because there's nothing to tense about it.
Yeah, like it's one of those cases where it's his character, yeah, belongs in like a much more like bigger, more serious action movie, but because it's not this isn't a comedy, but
I don't
it's
think
not
so.
actually Mad Max either. So it just seems out of place. But it was the only thing that was, somewhat enjoyable and funny to watch. So I love whenever the Sasquatch man showed up.
I want 1,000% more Sasquatch Man.
Release the Cannibal Smut Sasquatch cut.
Exactly. But the men, they like easily escape the women encampment. And the Sasquatch guy kind of just follows the other men. He really poses no threat to anyone, despite the fact that he is absolutely terrifying to these characters.
Yeah, I thought for sure that when they let him out by accident because they use him as like a torture device. They like throw other people in there and he like eats them. I thought for sure that they were gonna let him out of the cage and he was immediately gonna turn on them, and that was what was gonna wake the women up. But he's like the Sasquatch man is somewhat smart enough to understand that he can go with it. Like he's like part of the male tribe. It's really bizarre. He's like both dumb as a box of rocks, but not.
Dumb as a box of rocks, but adorable.
Ah,
You just gotta love them. Uh, as the
right.
men are being chased into the post-apocalyptic foothills of Denver, our main beefcake, he gets shot in the chest by one of the dart arrows from the tiara. God, it's really hard to keep track of all these stupid words I have to say. And he falls into like a 50-foot pit, and he's like, I'm fine, because
And
his
his
ABC book protected him.
oh my god, I thought for sure that was just going to be a bad prop because you can see like the big square pad under his shirt. that like the arrow was stuck into. I thought it was just a bad like practical effect, but no, of course it's the stupid ABC book.
And then he has
Uh,
some dumb line where he's like, I that day I had a better respect for the written word.
God, that again, it's like stupid voiceover that we get doing that, making that stupid dad joke. I hate it.
Dad joke, the movie starring the Sasquatch. Um, exactly. As he is investigating the mine, he comes across a secret hidden United States base installation,
Yeah, this was
which
actually kind of a cool little scene.
exactly this scene had no reason being in the movie. And it kind of like answers how this place is powered because like there's a sign that lights up and it's like
Emergency
solar powered.
solar. Yeah,
And I'm like, that's fucking genius. That
yeah,
essentially hand waves all of the batteries don't last that long. There's no way that a generator would stay. I mean, granted, probably like the electronics over 1,000 years would have degenerated, but
yeah, exactly.
it's enough. Or if I was in the 80s, I'd be like, I can fucking buy that.
Yeah, it's enough to get your subconscious off of it as like a plot hole, and you completely buy into it. It's a nice little bit of world building. This little bunker he stumbles into.
And then we see Greg's emaciated corpse behind the console.
Oh my god, that was I probably of all the things in this movie that I actually chuckled out loud at. I chuckled the loudest at this mummy, this like mummified skeleton person sitting at the controls of inside the bunker, like a little communication panel, and it's like its arm is stuck out touching the control panel, and its just mouth is just hanging open. And I sent you that screenshot. It's like me watching the movie.
that, that was me at 5 o'clock this morning watching this too.
Yeah.
Just watching it going like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah.
What is this fucking movie?
That little skeleton guy, he's my second favorite character in the movie.
He brings a lot to the
He
table.
brings a lot to the table. He brings enjoyment. He brings a little bit of what the fuck, because that skeleton guy would definitely be dust after 900 years. But now he's still kicking, still pointing at that screen.
Exactly. I kind of had to give the movie a little credit here as well because there's a lot going on that they don't, for some reason now, they don't really outright point and go, look at that. Look at that thing. That explains the movie more,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's like a map. It shows essentially where all the nukes went off across the entire world. So this isn't just an America problem. This is a worldwide problem.
Yep.
And then our main guy, he finds a gun. And again, like we realize that we're a little bit farther in the future when the nuclear war happened because it's a ray gun.
Oh yeah. It like cuts through the wall. He like okay. Well, here's the thing though, Phil. This gun, like in the military, Phil, do they just keep loaded weapons in unlocked cabinets?
Ray guns, they do. Oh wait,
Oh,
I
okay.
can't tell you. Uh,
Oh god, we're gonna edit this part out. The secret ray guns.
no, there is never a that I've ever been to where they just have guns chilling in like a storage locker.
Next to like really sensitive communication equipment.
Exactly. No. 100% not, especially ones with shitty LED lights.
Yeah.
I love how
Christmas
our
light gun.
our guy has his Christmas light gun, as you just said. I like that. He has his Christmas light gun and he looks at the manual and he's like, oh, a book. And then after 2 seconds of reading it, he has
Yes.
mastered the craft of shooting a gun.
I mean, Phil, maybe in the future, guns are just so well designed and so foolproof that you could any caveman guy can just pick one up and not blow his own head off.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's a gun. You just kind of just point and shoot, right? But
But a ray gun, you think there would be some kind of like boot up sequences? I don't know. I
there,
ain't no gun expert, but
especially a futurized ray
future.
weapon. But he enters the locked presidential room, and then we cut back to the three women, the Tiara and her sister, and they're kind of talking with each other about, I guess, just really nonsense. And the sister, she takes strife with one of the comments that her sister, the tiara, had about like maybe we should be nicer to the men, or like we should try to like work with them, like essentially
Yeah.
like we don't have to be the way that we are.
Yeah, she wants, she's the kind of the future looking change minded person, and of course the bad girl, the bad sister is like, heck no, kill them all,
Exactly. Kill them all.
kill all humans.
uh our guy, he's now kind of inspecting the presidential boudoir of this nuclear silo that has a Medusa pinball machine, and you can hear like the sound effects of Pac-Man and shit too.
What the hell is up with that presidential arcade, Phil? What I guess presidents need entertainment in the post-apocalyptic hellscape.
You got to have something to do, man, while you're
Yeah,
waiting for the nuke dust to settle, right?
but like this is the future, Phil. Like they've got future ray guns. Why don't they have like PS7s or something? And
That
that
exactly what I was thinking, dude. You can't have ray guns and fucking 80s technology sit next to each other.
no, it doesn't make any sense.
Just don't
I
even have that shit. It while it adds like a, oh neat, like the president plays video games, like it doesn't
yeah,
add anything to the movie.
it's just skip it. Yeah, just skip it entirely. Have the ray gun. That's one cool thing to find in the bunker. We don't need the Medusa pinball machine.
Exactly. Exactly. But our dude, he eventually finds a TV remote control and he turns it on, and it's just some random general. It's Greg at the console who just like launched all the nukes, and he's like, hey, Mr. President, we were wrong. There was no nuclear arsenal being sent from Russia, but we
It was a
fucking fired.
computer.
It was a computer glitch.
Yeah, it was a computer glitch, but we fired back anyway, and goddamn, we killed those Ruskies. He said.
He says Ruskies. Yeah, Ruskies.
Oh God.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
We have to talk also about this like thick Brooklyn accent that this actor is trying to really hard to mask when he's saying all this stuff. He's like, "Hey boss, we got those Ruskies. We got them good. We got those nukes off. It was a computer glitch, but we got them good."
It's
That was a bad accent, but you know what I'm trying to say.
his was even worse. I mean, I
Yeah.
get what he's trying to go for. They're adding like world building to an otherwise very bland movie. But yeah, it's kind of weird. And
Yeah.
as because he's addressing the president, our main character now assumes he's the fucking president of
Mhm.
America.
Oh yeah, because like as the message is going off, he's like talking back to the general in the video message. Like he's like thinking he's having a live conversation. He's smart enough to have mastered a ray gun in 2 seconds, but he doesn't understand what the hell is going on with this video message.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the president now, as they like to pronounce it.
President. Exactly. Pathetic. Um, the women, meanwhile, have found a cave that has like, I guess, essentially like gunpowder inside of it, and they
Yeah,
make bombs from it. I don't they don't really show too much. You just have to assume what they've done.
because at first I thought it was the same cave that this guy was in, where it was like an arsenal that had been recently uncovered. But I think this where she went is an unrelated bunker that had weapons and stuff in it. I think that was like she went into the no zone, right, to get that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but yeah, apparently it's just, like it's not actual weapons; it's just gunpowder because we see her come back with these like coconut grenades that they call thunder rocks.
Thunder Rocks.
Thunder rocks.
Meanwhile, the newly elected president plays a boombox, and he's like shocked and amazed by music, which I guess if you never heard music, you would. And he's
Yeah,
also just raiding all the cabinets. He puts on a radiation suit, and he just strolls right back out into the desert wasteland. where he comes across a toy from the female tribe. Now, did you notice who this guy was?
Okay, I knew he. I was hoping to ask you. I knew he looked familiar, but I couldn't peg him with what he was in.
He's Kassam from King Solomon's Mines. He's the guy who runs the
The shop.
store. Yeah, he's the one who like
Oh
grabs the
yeah,
dynamite and he's
my
like, "Look,
shop.
I got the dynamite," and then he blows up.
Oh,
Yep,
good for you, guy. You were in two movies.
exactly.
Movies asterisk.
Kassam immediately recognizes the our main character who is in a radiation suit as the president. Like unprovoked, he goes, "Oh my god, you're the fucking president."
Yeah, is that was kind of weird, wasn't it? Like, why would they recognize the hazmat suit as the president? You'd think that they would, if there was any iconography that they would identify with, it would be like a guy in a suit.
A suit or like an insignia, like the eagle holding
Oh
like
yeah,
the arrows or
the
whatever.
seal, the presidential seal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You think one of those things would give him? Oh, he's the like the president vibes. But why? Yeah, why the Marty McFly hazmat suit? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. It makes absolutely no sense. But that's what we got.
But we're rolling
And
with it. This toy is
exactly.
convinced.
Kassam is kind of like, I will go speak the word of the president and tell of your coming to the women, essentially. And the guy in the suit he's just like laughing his ass off. He's like, he thinks it's a game. Um, as he the president, in quotes, returns back to his man tribe with just a bounty of weapons and ray guns and shit. And he's like, "Hey
Mm-hmm.
guys, look what I found." And immediately someone blows themselves up with a grenade.
Scan this stuff. No, yeah, like 5 seconds later, bam, like giant explosion outside the tent. Whoopsie doodle.
Exactly. And then one of the other men is reading a magazine or a comic book in which it shows how to throw a grenade. And immediately he's like, I know what to do. And he starts lobbing grenades and showing like this is how you do it.
Man, who knew you could learn so much from a comic book?
I mean,
An
like
ABC book.
again, yeah, I have no problems that he's like interpreting the pictures to show the actions of what he needs to do. But to immediately become like an expert, I don't know. It
Oh,
jumps so quick.
you know what? It just I don't know why I didn't have this thought before, but you know what this reminds me of is that those tribes of humans in Battlefield Earth. And remember them like that montage where they learn how to fly like Harrier fighter jets?
Oh, dude, I've never seen Battlefield Earth. That's the one with John
You've
Travolta, the
never
Scientology
Yes.
movie.
Oh my god, you've never seen Battlefield Earth? That shit ran
No,
on cable all the time.
exactly. And every time I
Oh,
was like, I am not fucking
you
watching
noped
this.
out of it. Oh my
Yes.
god. Mandatory homework viewing, go watch that because it's exactly like what you're describing and then like learning how to properly handle future weapons with like Stone Age understanding. That's exactly what happens
I mean, if you
in
want to
that
do
movie.
it, I wasn't planning on it, but if you want to do it, it can be the next movie. I think
Yeah,
that
man.
movie's like fucking 3 hours long, though.
Yeah. Let's
Maybe
uh
that'll be a future thing. We'll get to it eventually. We'll come back to Battlefield Earth.
we'll do that sounds like a special episode. We'll pick a holiday, maybe like 4th of July or something. We'll
Does Scientology have a holiday? That is one
Zenu
way where
Day. What's Zenu Day?
we can get a lot of fucking listeners. We could get a lot of new subscribers if we just start placating to fucking Scientology.
This is a Scientology podcast now, motherfuckers.
Does Scientology have a holiday? Every fucking religion has to have one. Oh, it
Yeah.
does. March
Is there a Xenu Day?
13th. March
Oh shit,
13th.
that's coming up.
Symbols of Scientology include an 8-pointed cross, and celebrated holidays include Hubbard's birthday, which is March 13th, the
Mm-hmm.
date of Dianetics publication, May 9th, and Auditor's Day, second day in September. I would say we'll do it in May. We'll do Dianetics Day.
Perfect.
We'll review.
Battlefield.
We're gonna
I'm
fucking
so
review
excited for that.
Battlefield Earth. We're gonna pull them all in to listen to this fucking episode, and then we're just gonna fucking browbeat them down.
Your beliefs are crazy and you should feel bad.
you, you should feel really bad, but we'll get all those sweet new subscribers. Uh,
Honestly, I'm just excited to have you watch Battlefield Earth for the first time because, like, if you thought the learning of technology was batshit crazy in America 3000, you are gonna shit your pants when you get to the end of Battlefield Earth. I can't wait.
oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. As the men have all mastered the craft of war from their newly found weapons, the women are essentially they're like talking with each other about how they need to. Some of them are like, we need to take out the men, the others aren't, and the men are leaving their camp to go kidnap the Tiara's best friend, the one who's about to get seated, and they're successful again. Like the men, they run into no issue executing any of their plans.
No, everything just kind of works without a hitch. Usually, you would have like there'd be like a learning period where they lose a couple like guys and like some sad death scenes, like to do two things: like one, to get them to learn how to work as a team, but two, also make like flesh out the bad guy a little bit more. Like, hey, these are the stakes. But no,
Yeah.
they just steamroll right through, no problems, no deaths, no casualties.
Has any great movie you
No
would ever
stakes
watch, there's
whatsoever.
no stakes. The next night, the men return and they set up this elaborate set where they as I'm watching it, I'm like, they're burning through all of their newly found shit because they're like
Oh,
throwing grenades and lighting off flares and stuff.
and he only brought back like one box of that shit. I'm on
Yeah,
horseback, right?
exactly. They're putting on a show in which the president of the United States has returned and wants to set up a meeting with the Tiara so they can discuss, I guess, essentially a truce between the two tribes.
Yeah.
And it works. Like majority of the women fall for it. A few of them are a little skeptical, but I would say like in a post-apocalyptic future, seeing something like this, hearing music, seeing flares and grenades and shit like that go off, it would, I think
Have
you
an
would fall
impact.
for it, right?
Oh yeah, because I mean, yeah. So like you said, they got the president out there, but it's like they've got the hazmat suit set up, but no one's in it. They've kind of got it like setting up like, I don't know if there's like a mannequin in it or if they just got like sticks in there to like prop it up, but they like propped it up over the wall of the outside of the walls of the female camp. And yeah, they're like shooting off fireworks and they're playing the 1812 symphony by Tchaikovsky. And like it's this like huge spectacle. Like, yeah, I could kind of believe that. It's kind of a genius idea to like shock and awe them into going along with the idea.
Yeah, and so the Tiara, she goes to meet the men so she can get her friend back. That was like the president's essentially like, I kidnapped one of your friends. The Tiara needs to come and get her alone so we can also make a truce so we can kind of get over this war. So the Tiara does it. She starts talking to the president of the United States, and she quickly finds out that he's not really the president. He's just a random dude, and he's like, we don't need to fight. Like we don't need to live like this. Unbeknownst to both of them,
There are other
the
things we can do.
the men and the women are fucking killing each other.
Yep. Like, so he Gruss, like, right? He's no,
Yeah.
sorry, Corvus. He gets back in the president's suit, meets with the Tiara lady on horseback. He's like, there's somewhere, like, there's somewhere I want to take you, right? And then
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he brings them to the presidential bunker, and like that's when he takes his mask off, and she realizes it's just like a regular dude, and they they lay down and start banging,
Yeah.
and that's what's gonna convince her. But
And we
like you
didn't even
said,
get any boobs from that. It was such a hard transition between like we're mortal enemies to let's fuck. And then
yeah, she was on board with that immediately. But like you said, like while they're getting busy, they're like, yeah, they're starting to kill each other.
yeah, again, just really weird. And the action is it's a lot of action. It's probably like 15 minutes of action, and it's just kind of really boring. And I don't understand how the men just don't steamroll the women because they literally have fucking laser weapons.
Yeah, the action scene definitely goes on too long, but yeah, it does seem kind of boring overall. Like it's the really flat shots. There was one interesting um there I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a named character, but there's like one of the women from the tribe. She's like clearly like a stunt woman because she was doing some pretty good kicks and like backflips and stuff. But otherwise, it was a lot of just like awkward struggles in the dirt. It was pretty boring.
Awkward struggles in the dirt.
The movie.
The movie. Exactly. Yeah. Uh, again, the scenes are juxtaposed between the men killing each other, the men and the women killing each other, and then the other two boinking each other
In the presidential suite. Oh
in the
yeah.
presidential suite. Uh, and then eventually, like the president and the tiara, they realize, okay, let's go address our tribes. And they essentially go back to their respective villages. Like the woman's like, hey, we don't need to do this. But when the president shows back up to the man village, like he realized that like a lot of men died. He's like, you know what? Fuck those women. Like, let's go fucking kill them.
Yeah, because he thought that like it was a double cross. Like he thought that there was gonna be peace while they were chatting. He thought that the tiara double crossed him and told her tribe to go kill the man while they were distracted. So he's all pissed off now.
So he shows up to the woman tribe, ready to fucking rock and roll. And essentially, now we get it from the other side. The woman's like, we don't have to do this. We can just live in peace. And the guy's like, you know what? We can. They start kissing. The voiceover goes, I don't know what I was looking at, but I know I was essentially getting fucking horny from it.
But I was gonna learn.
All the men and the women lay down their arms, and I swear, like you see clothes getting thrown in a pile too, and it's insinuated that a fucking orgy is about to happen.
This orgy's about to pop off.
Cut to
Yes,
Sasquatch
yes,
man.
yes.
He's like walking into the sunset. He's got the fucking boombox with him, right?
Yeah, he does.
he does like the Breakfast Club jump,
Dun,
like
dun.
pump fist thing. Freeze frame.
He jumps in. Oh my god. So this ending, I was like, my eyes were rolling in the back of my skull how stupid this ending was, where they're all like laying down their arms, and it's like it was like such a saccharine ending that was totally undeserved. I was ready to write off this movie once and for all, but God, Phil, that freeze frame of Sasquatch jumping in midair with the boombox to heavy metal music, mwah, just
Chef's kiss.
just the best thing. It was legendary. I love it.
the The movie is so all over the place with what it wants to be, with what it wants to do. It's really hard to assess what the filmmakers truly wanted to say with this, and even if there is something to say with it.
Yeah, because like you said before, there's like an anti-war message, kind of. I'm sure there's a message to be had here of like, genders should be, on equal footing, and we should work together to rebuild society. Like, but all of that is not like, that's us trying to guess at what they were trying to go for. That's not really in the movie whatsoever. It's just kind of a couple interesting, funny things strung together with awkward struggles in the dirt.
Awkward struggles in the dirt. 2 stars.
Yeah, yeah, it was like two and a half for me. I mean, it 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 wasn't the most terrible thing in the world.
It
Again,
was
we
no
like
Apple. It was
it
no
was
Apple.
no, no, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't super terrible, super annoying, because there was enough like little things in here to like to enjoy, and to kind of like, oh, there's some credit due there. Because again, this is clearly, what's his name, David Engelbert, whatever his name was, his like passion project. So some effort went into this, but like all the stupid language, the boring action scenes, it just kind of fell flat. I can definitely see this playing really well on cable TV on a weekend, like we were saying, but I'm not surprised this was forgotten about.
Yeah. Oh, same here. I really have nothing more to say besides I can't believe, again, this is one of those canon films where they could have gotten away with showing a lot of boobs and they just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Engelbert Humperdinck, the guy who made this film, really held back.
Yeah, that's is this like a really interesting. I would want to know more about the backstory of how this got made because it seems to me that from a business standpoint, Golan and Globus, the canon head honchos, like you would think that they would push for it to be that because that's kind of their MO up to this point is to basically make TNA flicks that they can just sell cheaply to international markets. Like you think that that's what they would want to make this movie. I'm shocked that they didn't
100%.
because it seemed like such an easy grab for them. I think like we were talking before, maybe they were trying to dip into like a more kid friendly PG-13 Mad Max market. I don't know. Where it's all speculation on our part.
And that's all we can really do because there wasn't that much to read about this movie. Unsurprisingly, when a movie's not popular, people
People don't give
don't
a
really
shit.
fucking talk about it.
No, or write about it or anything. I mean, did anyone like was there any notable reviews? Did Siskel and Ebert review this movie?
The one interesting thing that I did read about this movie was that essentially there is a TV show in Germany at one point that kind of does the same thing that we
Mm.
do. This movie was spoke about in Schlafaz, which is a television show.
Shaffas.
It's a German abbreviation, which means the worst films ever. And in series two, the host talked about this movie and just like ripped it apart.
Okay, that's the closest thing that they ever got to a like critical review
There
from
you
a major
go.
publication. Okay, interesting.
I
How much
mean,
did this movie make any money?
I
I have to know.
it didn't say anything. It did say that the movie cost $2 million to make. It must have gone all towards the Yeti suit.
Yeah, okay, that's something that's worth commenting on because not just like the Sasquatch shoot, but you can definitely tell like they spent a lot of time clearly like building sets, building like all the tents and the bunker, which is really well done, and all of the props and the little hand crossbows. Like there's definitely effort put into like the physical things that show up on the screen, but you're right. That's got to be where all the money went because it wasn't in big name actors. It wasn't in any kind of like post production effects. I think we got one matte painting in this entire movie. I was trying to keep an eye out for stuff like that. There was like one matte painting of like a burnt out building that showed up briefly, but I mean, yeah, I don't know where else the movie would have put its money.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess everyone has to get a little bit of the salary, right? So
That's true. There were a lot of extras. I mean, I guess they were paying people, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of it's a hard movie to talk about in like overall thoughts because it's kind of like the Naked Cage where it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was just kind of meh. Like we weren't trying to rip your eyes out while watching it, but it was you know not something you ever want to go back and watch again. Again, I think it's very much one of those like middle of the road, play it on cable TV, get it into video stores, and dupe as many people as you can into watching it.
exactly. Because looking at the poster, it's that Yeti. This definitely would have made like a kid look at it
Oh yeah.
and go, I want to see this. It's got a fucking Yeti on it.
It's got a fucking Yeti. Yeah. Oh man. I did one of the things I did want to mention. I wrote down some of the other words in that vocabulary. Just to like try like I was trying to keep like a lexicon of like all these stupid words so I can kind of like understand what the hell they were saying.
Okay.
So I wrote down, okay, so I've got like the machos and the toys. Those are like the roles for the men. We heard the word plastic a lot, which I think was like good. Like, oh, this
Oh
is like
yeah.
it's gonna make you feel hot plastic,
It's gonna
which is
make you
like
feel hot plastic. Yeah,
really,
that's
really
right.
good. The neggy was that word, like we got that a lot. That was like not or never, like you're neggy gonna believe this, or some crap like that.
See, you think it would be something like negging, like it's bad. You know what I mean? Like to neg someone.
Yeah, not yeah, not using it as a word for not or never. Honestly, like they're not consistent with how they use it in the context of a sentence either. They just kind of pepper it in wherever, but it makes no actual like grammatical sense the way that they use it. They just throw it wherever they want to, just to make it sound. Again, they go way overboard with using these words. Um, they've got F, which is just fuck, which is kind of like it's almost like they were like looking into the future and learning a like internet lingo. Um, Thunder rocks were grenades. Regs, they use that a couple times. It was like rules or
Yeah,
laws.
rules, regulations. That one makes sense.
Yeah, regulations. That one kind of makes sense. But yeah, then the big one that we talked about before was scan, which I talk about like they use that shit all over the place and it means different things. I sometimes I thought that it meant like seeing things, like which would make sense for the word scan, but then they use it in some context in other ways where it's meant to be like scan this, like understand it, or see, show, see, understand, like grasp what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Scan the words that I'm saying to
Scan
you.
it. What again? What was that Star Trek episode where Picard?
Shaka when the walls fell, Timba his arms wide.
Yeah, right. Like it's I don't know. It's so weird when a show or a movie tries to very quickly put in a new vernacular, right? That like I guess just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, they need to either go lighter with it so that you can kind of understand it as you go along, or try to like be better about giving you context so that you can like, oh, that means this, because they're using so many of these words in long strings together that you need at least some normal words to kind of like grasp onto so you can get the context clues. But half the time, like you said before, without the narrator, half the time you wouldn't know what the hell they were talking about throughout
Yeah.
the whole like first half of the movie because they were spouting this crap so constantly.
Yep. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's definitely something.
Yeah, I mean, there's really otherwise not a whole lot to say. The characters were just kind of annoying. The performances were bad. It didn't look very good. The shots, the cinematography was kind of bland. I mentioned the soundtrack was actually not too bad. It was kind of like a rock, like a heavy metal soundtrack, which was okay. The props I mentioned, there, all the sets and everything looked pretty good for a low budget movie.
I mean, the props, at least
Yeah,
from like the future weapon stuff, they literally just took a rifle and put lights on it, and then they just used grenades.
grenades. Yeah, it's like it was credit where credit's due. Like they at least like tried they clearly put an effort to build all this stuff. Like I keep going back to those little like hand crossbows. There were a lot of those that showed up. Some poor like intern had to go and make all that crap. So there was some elbow grease behind this.
Oh, definitely. I won't 100% disregard the effort that was put into this movie, right? Like definitely
Yeah.
effort was put into this. I will not um unscan what the movie, right?
You're not
Did I
gonna
use that right?
neggy.
I'm gonna have to get a neggy it.
Oh my god, it's so annoying. I hate those words so much. Oh man. Well, speaking of hating words a lot, actually, I'll give my quote of the week,
I thought you're
which
gonna
you
say like I've watched a silent movie this week.
I watched the silent
Um
movie. That's gonna be like my palate cleanser after watching this is going to watch a bunch of silent movies. There's
watch
so much stuff here.
Nosferatu.
I'm so tired of hearing people talk. Um, but no, like you might have heard this or seen this coming, but the Sasquatch was my favorite character. So because I hate everything that people actually say in this movie, Phil, my quote of the week is this 30-second long clip of incoherent Sasquatch growling when we see him discover air freshener in an aerosol can. Let's take a listen.
Oh my god. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
A feast for thine ears.
Ah, yes. It's just like it goes on so long. I mean, it probably fits better when there's you see him like digging through the trash and discovering the aerosol can, but oh, comic Sasquatch relief. But
Comic Sasquatch relief. Only
yep.
canon can bring you comic Sasquatch relief.
Again, chef's kiss. Hats off to the scriptwriter for that garbly-gook.
What came out first, this or Harry and the Hendersons? This movie came out in
80,
1986. When did
yeah.
Harry and the Hendersons come out? Let's
Mm.
take a look. 1987. So fucking
Did Harry and the Hendersons rip off America 3000?
they did. Whoa.
Because that's actually a really good comparison. That the Sasquatch costume in this looks like a lot like that suit.
Yes.
Oh man,
But that suit was made by Rick Baker.
that's true. The face was much more articulated. This was just like a rubber mask, like constantly stuck in this like open mouth grin.
Yeah, this like I can't believe I'm in this movie shocked face.
Oh, poor Sasquatch.
Hmm. Did you scan anything else this week?
I did. I scanned a couple of good movies. We scanned a movie in the movie theater, actually. Becky and I went to go see Jackass Forever in the movie theater. I somehow convinced my wife to go see a Jackass movie in the theater.
Nice.
Um, it was pretty good. It was probably not my favorite Jackass movie. I think the first one is probably still my favorite because that was the one where they go to Japan, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's funny like culture clash there, but I mean it was like there was definitely a lot of nostalgia value in a Jackass movie because I mean it's been probably what 10 years plus since the last one Jackass 3 came out.
Jackass 3 came out when I went into the Air Force. So specifically when I went to Japan. So it would have came out in 2010.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, more than 10 years. So I mean I think yeah, again nostalgia was powerful. I mean it's a lot of the same like I mean it's a Jackass movie. It doesn't reinvent the formula. It's just a bunch of like gross out humor and stunts and male nudity for comedic effect. I mean, it's I you know I love that stuff. It was pretty consistently funny throughout. I will say the thing I think I liked the most was they peppered in some clips from the TV show and the movies in a couple spots, which is really kind of charming in a way. Like seeing how I mean, just seeing them how much they've aged. Like they were babies in that original show by comparison.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of nice to see is like you know like a getting together with old friends kind of appeal. So yeah, it was definitely. I mean, if you like, you know, if you like Jackass or not. So if you don't, stay away from it. But if you do like it, definitely check the movie out when you can.
Jackass
Um,
3, I saw in 3D when it came out. It was the last film I saw before I went to Japan. When I got to Japan, Wee Man was doing a USO show tour.
oh
I
no shit!
met Wee Man
Oh my god,
and
that's awesome.
I told him, I was like, hey man, Jackass 3 was the last movie I saw before I got stationed here. And he was like, wow, that was a waste of money, dude.
oh, oh, wee man, you got a paycheck out of that
I was
though.
like, dude, you're so cool. I got his autograph. He was super nice.
Oh, what a nice guy. That's awesome. Man, like that's the kind of thing you need on a USO tour is wee man. Like that's some lighthearted fun. They
Out
should
of
like take a whole Jackass thing on tour like that.
Yeah, out of all the USO things that I saw when I was stationed over there, I saw Lieutenant Dan Band.
Of course.
One year it was like fucking MMA fighters, and then it was Wee Man. Wee Man, obviously my favorite.
Oh yeah, the best. Yeah. What did he do? Did he just like speak? Did he like talk about the
Yeah,
show
he
and
just kind of talked and just yeah, it was just kind of
answer
just like
questions?
a night with Wee Man.
A
Like
night with Wee Man. Hey man, sign me up. I would love to have a night for Wee Man. Night with
yeah,
Wee Man. Ooh, that sounds kind of weird. But yeah,
he was really cool.
oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, like Wee Man was in this one. I think all of the main cast showed up. I think Bam, obviously Ryan Dunn passed away, so he's not in it. But they did give a nice like rest in peace, like note to him at the end, which is really nice. But Bam Margera wasn't in it. I know he's kind of fallen on not so great time, so he wasn't in it. But yeah, it was nice to see the old cast back together. And they had some new people too, which they were all pretty funny. So yeah,
Johnny Knoxville looks like he's his old man character now.
Irving Zisman.
Irving Zisman.
Yeah. Honestly, like it's weird because they in parts of the movie he's got his hair dyed, and in other parts he's gone gray. I'm assuming like the gray he's actually gray now. You could tell that they shot this over a long period of time because they kind of go back and forth. I feel like between him having the dyed hair or not. He rocks that gray hair though.
Yeah. Which is really weird because he's only 50, but I'm pretty sure it's just all the trauma that he's put his body through that makes him look so fucking old.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a good point. I mean, another good part about the movie, like the shock value is different in that it's like how old these guys are. I mean, they're like either pushing 50 or over 50 at this point in some cases. It's hard to watch these guys put themselves in such like concussion risk. I think Johnny actually did get a major concussion from shooting this movie when he got in the bull ring again. But it's just like, oh my God, watching older guys, like they don't bounce back from the stuff that they would in their 20s.
Exactly. I read an interview with Johnny Knoxville in which he talked about the time that he broke his penis and he was like literally peeing blood and stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. For like, yeah, like any kind of kidney injury would do that to you too. Oh my God. Well, yeah, I mean, if horrible, like, violence to male genitalia is your thing, you get plenty of that in this movie, that's for sure.
Nice.
So if you want to go watch that in a theater with a bunch of strangers, check out Jackass Forever.
What else have you watched?
I think this is something you and I both watched. So Joe Bob did his Valentine's Day special on Shudder on Friday. So we watched Black Roses was the first movie. Speaking of heavy metal movies, this was a slightly better heavy metal movie, like that weird subgenre of heavy metal horror, which they made a bunch of during the 80s. I mean, it was kind of funny, bad. I like, as always, Joe Bob's commentary is good. It's interesting to see the heavy metal horror genre kind of coming back with that Studio 666 movie with the Foo Fighters. Have you seen?
Yeah, I've seen the preview for that. Seems interesting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Black Roses was kind of cool with some funny effects and stuff. But the standout was the second movie in the holiday special, which was Frankenhooker.
The Frank Henenlotter
classic
film.
Yeah, of Basket Case and Brain Damage fame. I think you had seen this. Becky and I, we were watching. We had never seen this. Oh my God, Phil. We were laughing our asses off. This movie is hilarious. It's like some of the darkest like horror, like the darkest humor that we've seen in a horror comedy, but like it's all played so straight. It's just so bonkers. It's practically like a Naked Gun slapstick movie almost at some spots.
The guy who plays Jeffrey in it, James Lawrence,
he nails it.
Yeah, he's so insane in the film. I'm surprised that while he still continues to act, he never made it really big. Yeah. And it's so shocking because he's so good in that movie.
He's so good in this movie because most of the movie is him like in his like Frankenstein lab muttering to himself, like talking to himself talking in crazy terms about what he's going to do and how he's going to build he's going to build the perfect woman because his fiance had been killed. He's going to reconstruct her better than ever. Like it's just so much crazy rambling that he just sells somehow.
There's only one other actor that I think could ever match that or do that role the same, like in a different but equally as good way, and it would be like Michael Moriarty. Like you need some like these B-level like amazing actors, right?
Yeah, who consistently punch above their weight class in terms of the movies they get.
Yeah. What a great movie.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I won't spoil it, but I will say that the exploding hookers scene,
Yes.
it's got to be like up there in the top 10 funniest scenes in any movie that I've ever seen. Becky and I were just like dying laughing at that scene.
Yeah.
If listeners, if the phrase exploding hookers scene is that, if that's something that's like in your wheelhouse, check out Frankenhooker. It's hilarious. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. Amazing movie. Absolutely great.
Yeah. But for speaking of which, I know you were watching some of those specials. Yeah, what else have you been watching, Phil?
I watched Ghostbusters 2, not in 4K. They still have yet to fix my disc.
Oh, I'm shaking my fist at the heavens right now.
And then I watched Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, which
What?
yeah.
I don't know what the words you just strung together mean.
It's a movie that came out during the pandemic. It was supposed to come out in the movie theater, but I don't think it ever did. It stars Kristen Wiig, Jamie Dornan, and Annie Mumolo. It is super weird, dude. It's super weird. Barb and Star go on a vacation to Vista Del Mar. There also happens to be a Dr. Evil-esque female mad scientist who plans on
Okay.
killing everyone at Vista Del Mar. Because at one point in her childhood, they made fun of her because she's an albino.
All right, you got my attention now. That sounds like my kind of weird.
It is.
Is it good?
It's super weird. I gave it 3 stars. There are multiple singing scenes.
Ooh, now you're losing me.
One of them hits really well. Like I was laughing. It's these characters are extremely weird. And I can tell you this, if in the first 10 minutes you don't like the humor, just turn it off.
Just tap
because
out.
it's just more of that over and over again. Some of it works really well. And I have to say, like, I'll give it to Kristen Wiig for not like having I can't think of her name. It's the other actress she does a lot of stuff with. She was like in Bridesmaids as well.
The girl
she was in Ghostbusters.
Maya Rudolph.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
like,
Melissa
McCarthy or Melissa McCarthy, both of them.
Yeah,
they're not in it. She doesn't use her same
like her stock buddy actors.
Yeah, exactly. She's not like turning into Adam Sandler or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Jackie enjoyed it again, though. She had like the same thing where it's like, I don't know how funny this movie was, or if it ever would be funny again if I watched it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's one of those, like, it's weird and unique, and you are glad you watched it, but you'll never pick it up again, basically.
Exactly. I might listen to the Seagull song one more time, but that's about it.
Yeah, the musical thing, like I don't know, I'm mixed on those things. I always hated when TV shows in the 90s would have a musical episode, because it always seemed like a thing that they did.
It was, yeah.
In some cases I like it, but in a lot of cases I don't.
It's one of those things where like comedies did that for a bit. I remember the 40-Year-Old Virgin ended with a musical number where they sing like the Age of Aquarius.
Oh,
and
God.
It was
mid 2000s LOL random humor.
That I enjoyed the movie. I did not enjoy that ending where it's like, okay, he had sex and then he sings Age of Aquarius. Like that's not funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I guess if you're bored and you have Hulu and you need to kill like 90 minutes, Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. I remember seeing the movie preview for it, and I thought it was interesting because they don't show anything about the movie. It's just the two characters, Barb and Star. You don't see their faces. You're essentially like seeing it's like a point of view shot, and you're kind of just seeing their feet by the pool. And they kind of just talk about nonsensical things.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of crap that I hate in a lot of like 2000s plus comedy, where it's like it's unscripted kind of improv stuff, and sometimes you get like lightning in a bottle and it just works. I'm struggling to think of an example at the moment, but I'm sure you can think of one, but a lot of times it just comes off as like annoying and cringy and just kind of, yeah, it's kind of like rambling and random. And it's, yeah, I don't find, a lot of people like that. But I don't find that funny.
If Comedy Central still showed anything but The Office all the time, this movie would be on there on like Sunday.
That's like a really specific niche way to describe it, but I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's about it. I haven't watched too much recently, so yeah.
Okay. Well, if you like that kind of weird humor, I guess check it out. But or maybe you're a big Kristen Wiig fan. But
And if you don't, let's listen to that Yeti. There we go.
Squatch Cast.
Squatch Cast.
See, that's a good idea. We were gonna like let's like transform the podcast and just like go through all the weird conspiracy and like niche lifestyles. So we'll do the Scientology episode, then we'll do like a Sasquatch episode, then we'll do like a ghost hunting lizard people episode.
That's how we're gonna grow our audience, is by
bait and switching, like
bait and switching
crazy people.
What's the next thing? Let's find like a movie about the flat earth or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then we can post up on YouTube with some shit like the flat earth, the truth comes out, and it's just us being like, yeah, it's not fucking flat.
It's like a 2-second episode.
Yeah.
I like it. Bait and switching to get views. We gotta do what we can.
Exactly.
It's a doggy dog world out there in modern media.
Well, you know what? I don't think we're gonna have any Sasquatches next movie, because we're going to be watching Behind Enemy Lines, also known as Attack Force Nam, also known as POW The Escape.
Oh, another POW Vietnam movie.
Yep. This one starring David Carradine.
Woo! I forget. Was this the other one that you gave me the choice of last time?
Yes.
It was between America 3000 and this. Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Woo.
Exactly.
It's David Carradine. He's kind of a weirdo in a lot of these 80s movies where he's clearly drunk a lot of the time. So there could be something funny there, right?
I thought you were going to say he was just a weirdo. I mean, he did fucking kill himself masturbating in a closet. So we were going to touch on it. There's no way that you talk about David Carradine and how the fact that he fucking killed himself. And we're gonna have some conspiracy shit to talk about with David Carradine next week, because some people believe that he didn't kill himself.
Is this like an Elvis thing where like they think he's still alive?
No, they think that he was killed by something
CIA.
else. We'll just leave it at that.
We'll tease that. Come back next week and listen to David Carradine conspiracy theories.
David Carradine, the conspiracy, is the next episode. You can watch this movie on YouTube, or you can subscribe to this thing called Pickflix. Dick Flicks. I'm pretty sure this thing is just like a front for the Russian mob, because it's like $2.99 a month. Just find it on YouTube.
You want to unknowingly fund international terrorism and drug trafficking? And subscribe to Pickflix.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Don't sue us. Well, if you like what you're hearing, I'm going to drop the.
I knew you were going with that. Perfect.
Go ahead, subscribe, comment down below, comment above, leave a thumbs up, write something. I'll read anything that you say, Steven. Anything that you say. I know you listen to this. I will read it. Just send it.
Send an email. Do it.
You can find us on YouTube at That's Canon. You can find us on Spotify at That's Canon, TikTok at That's Canon Podcast, Instagram at That's Canon. And remember, since we said it,
That's Canon. Did someone create a fake email address to email us?
I have no idea. I shouldn't have opened this. I got it at 7:47 this morning.
Gorilla Mail is that's like a burner email account, right?
Let's do this. We're gonna have like that late breaking news.
Whoa, we're coming back, we're adding this into the episode. This must be important, Phil.
Yeah, we're gonna have like static like that. I got some weird Gorilla Mail gmail.com. You said this is a burner thing, right?
I feel like I could be thinking of something completely different, but I thought that like it sounds like it's like one of those like temporary email addresses where like it's only active for a certain amount of time, and it's like yeah you use it to sign up for something and then it just disappears.
Interesting. So this one's weird, and it's not like it's sent out to a blast thing. It is just set to that's canon at gmail.com. In which they said this, and this is a lot to read. I don't know if we're gonna read all of this. I'll post it on the Instagram and I'll post it on YouTube around the same time that this episode drops. So here we go. Just heard the podcast and already had this list prepared for someone else. Wait. Okay. So it's called Masters of the Universe. My list of who should have been considered to replace Gary Goddard. Now, this
Wait,
is
what?
weird. This is weird. So
I
Masters
feel
of
like
the
we're missing
Universe,
context here.
Masters of the Universe is He-Man. Okay.
Right.
Canon will eventually release Masters of the Universe, starring Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella, directed by Gary Goddard, written by David Odell. Okay,
Right.
the email starts as if we're already in the middle of a conversation.
That's weird. And we haven't even done an episode on that. I mean, not yet.
Not yet. So here we go. If Mattel did not trust Goddard, thanks to their work with his company Landmark Entertainment, in which he provides a slash film link to Masters of the Universe, the oral history, which I'm pretty sure has nothing to do with sex. Well, there's so many links right here. If Mattel did not trust Goddard, thanks to their work with his company Landmark Entertainment, and then there's a giant parentheses, so I have to find where it ends. Okay, so just follow me here because there's parentheses with inside the parentheses. There was little chance Cannon would have allowed him to keep the job. Golan believed in complete artistic freedom. Globus, generally speaking, did not. On Masters of the Universe, spiraling out of control budgets in weak dailies made Globus want to fire director Gary Goddard. Golan refused. I have never fired a director. That's a quote from Golan. Of course, the film ended up being a terrible flop and another nail in Cannon's coffin, but Golan still stands by this decision. Editor Ann V. Coates, well, this is a quote from her. Well, I missed Fatal Attraction because I wasn't in the union, which I was very disappointed about. And Masters of the Universe was in the wings waiting. So, as I say, it got me into the union in the end. But that was special effects. And that was quite interesting. It was very interesting as a film, generally because the director was a first time director, really didn't know what he was doing. So Menenheim Golan put me on the floor to block out all the scenes with him every night. So I was cutting in the daytime and blocking out scenes on location at night and getting no sleep. Okay, there's a lot more.
Okay, so pause here. So the email is written. Is it like the person who wrote the email? Are they like describing an interview that like is this like research, personal research, like giving us background into the Masters of the Universe? Or
there are so many links inside of this thing from like slash film, something called the Masters of the Universe Power Tour.blogspot.com.
huh?
juntajalil.blogspot.com, historyproject.org. I must break this podcast.wordpress.com. That must be like one solely dedicated to Dolph Lundgren. I must break you.
I mean, hey, niche podcasts. That's what we do too.
Exactly.
So it sounds like they're like heck, they did all of our research for us for the Masters of the Universe episode.
It sounds like it. I am not even a quarter way done with this email.
Wow.
So, previous possible Masters of the Universe director, William Deere, unmade Stretch Armstrong film. What? There was a unmade Stretch, Mel Gibson, Taylor Lautner, in the 20-year effort to make a Stretch Armstrong film. Disney Universal.
Like the toy?
Yeah. Dozens of writers and 10 million payday for Danny DeVito. It sounds like a lot of people wanted to make Stretch Armstrong the movie. Uh, I guess Tim Allen rejected it. But Jim Carrey was a possibility. I don't know. This is so weird.
Can you paste the content of this email into Discord so I can read along with you? Because I'm having a hard time following like what you're saying, Phil, and what you're reading off of the email.
I'm having a hard time reading the email, but here you, it's going into .txt.
Yeah.
Um, so the master or this William Deere guy is quoted to say, "I was a little leery of the project that originated in the concept with a toy. I had been attached loosely to Masters of the Universe before it was made. That was kind of scary because the story was driven by a promotion of a toy. I think that kind of lingered. Was busy with Harry and the Hendersons. Thanks to Deere's work on Amazing Stories episode, Deere was offered Conan the Destroyer by Dino De Laurentiis. So Edward R. Pressman probably offered him Masters of the Universe soon after, and was also at the point of going to direct The Rocketeer as his next project. I know of one canon director from that time, William Sachs, so Golan Globus might have suggested someone like him." William Sachs, the director. This is interesting. This is like some, what's that movie with it's also a series of books by Dan Brown.
The Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, this is like some Da Vinci Code shit. So I guess our
Deep
writer,
history. The email writer.
our writer is suggesting William Sachs of Hot Chili fame would have been a good substitute for Goddard for Masters of the Universe.
Interesting.
Oh, canon fixer director at the time. So I think he's suggesting that William Sachs would have gone in and helped Goddard.
Oh, to do like
fix.
reshoots and stuff. Okay.
Which I guess like that's not, I mean, Hot Chili, while an incompetent film, wasn't that it was poorly directed. It was all down to the writing of Hot Chili of why it was bad.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, structurally, it was edited weirdly, but yeah, I guess I'm not sure how much you can really fault the director for that unless he was in the cutting room.
Um, our writer goes on to say a safe replacement director choice would have been someone like John Ho, as he got his start in television before horror action in Disney effects films. John Ho, I've never heard of him. Let's see what John Ho has done. There's 3 John Ho's available to look at in this, but I'm assuming it's this guy because I can see some Disney stuff. Nothing that he went on to make Howling 4, the original Nightmare. Okay, interesting. So the following list is who I think would have been a feasible replacement director if Cannon could have convinced Mattel, in which he goes on to list 50 different directors. And I'm going to read them because, as I've said, Greg, I will read anything that you send me. But because, dear writer, there are so many here, we are going to we're gonna leave out the parentheses, and well, we're gonna speed up everything that I say here by 1.75%. And even if I get halfway through and during the editing and I think like, man, this is still a little bit too long, I might kick it up to 1.9. So let me red leather, yellow leather here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm ready. Max W. Anderson of the Blues Brothers fame. Now, these aren't obviously Blues Brother was not directed by him. These are not the main directors of these films, just stuff that they've worked on. Vic Armstrong from Superman, Flash Gordon, Charles Blale from Cleopatra Jones and the Casino of Gold, Craig R. Baxley of Kolchak, the Night Stalker. That's an awesome TV show. Man. Gil Bettman, the Fall Guy, Knight Rider, Automan. Dude, we just fucking said Automan in this episode. Huh. Whoa. Danny Bilson. Exactly. we're gonna whoa a couple Keanu Reeves. Whoa. Danny Bilson, Bill Bixby, who was from The Incredible Hulk. He was an actor and director as well. Bob Brooks from Space 1999. John Carl Buechler, Jason of the Star Command. Never heard of that one. Larry Carroll, the day He-Man and the Masters of the Universe episode writer, Ghost Warrior director. Greg Champion, Short Circuit producer, awesome movie. Colin Chilvers, Superman, Saturn 3. Roger Christian, Star Wars A New Hope set director, Alien set director.
That's a big name. I mean, I assume I've never heard of him, but hey, Alien.
Yeah, exactly. Ron Cobb, Alien, a Star Wars A New Hope. So that's another guy right there. Howard R. Cohen, Deathstalker. Harry Cochlis, The Empire Strikes Back. Kevin Connor, The Lion That Time Forgot. Lyle Conway, The Dark Crystal. That's an awesome movie. Nicholas Carrera, The Incredible Hulk. William J. Kreber, Planet of the Apes. Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Oh man, he's done like all the ape movies. That's pretty cool. Flight of the Navigator. That's a good one. That's a good kids movie. John Dykstra. Yeah. Star Trek The Motion Picture, photographic effects.
Nice.
Oh, and Life Force. That's another canon film right there.
Yeah.
James Frowley, The Muppet Movie. I fucking love Muppets. Mick Garris. Fuzz Bucket.
Mick Garris. That's someone I've heard of.
Interesting. Stuart Gordon, Warp, The Forever War, Reanimator.
Yeah, got Stuart Gordon.
Yeah.
Like Brian Usna work together a lot.
Yeah, definitely. That probably would be pretty cool. Rupert Hitzig from Jaws 3. Stephen Hopkins, a comic book album cover artist. I've never heard of him. John Ho, Black Arrow, which the writer has previously said before. Brian Johnson, Alien, Dragon Slayer, The Neverending Story. Joe Johnston. He's the fucking director of Captain America. If I'm thinking of the same Joe Johnston, he's the director of Captain America. Yeah, he is. Okay, interesting. R.J. Kaiser, Battle Beyond the Stars. That's a Vinegar Syndrome film. David Lane, Thunderbirds. That's a marionette show. Terry Leonard, Conan the Barbarian. Bruce Logan, 2001 Space Odyssey. Peter MacDonald, Superman, Legend, Camera Operator. Legend is a fucking badass movie.
Yeah.
Peter Managoon, Ghost Warrior. Mnuchin. That makes way more sense than what I just said. Terry Mersel, Hawk the Slayer director. Mike Marvin, The Wrath. Tom McLaughlin, Prophecy. That's a good movie that has what's his name? Christopher Walken in it. Dominic Orlando, animation storyboard artist. Frank Orsatti, Planet of the Apes. Awesome movie. Albert Pune, who is a B-level movie director, The Sword and the Sorcerer. He also did a 1990 Captain America film, and he also did Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nice.
Stuart Raffle, The Ice Pirates. I've heard of that movie. Ian Sharp, Who Dares Wins. Richard Taylor, Star Trek The Motion Picture. Tron Visual Effects. Chris Wallace, Dragon Slayer. Tommy Lee Wallace, Halloween 3. Twilight Zone 1985 episode. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China, second unit director. Tommy Lee Wallace.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, Halloween 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ken and Jim Wheat, Ewoks, The Battle of Endor, writers and directors. I've seen those movies. No, thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love those movies so much. We used to have those on like Betamax or something at home. We used to rewatch them. Love it.
Stan Winston, that's an inspired choice right there. Has Stan Winston, he made Pumpkinhead. I think that's the only film that he ever directed, right?
I'll say, but yeah, that would be an inspired choice for an effects heavy movie.
Yeah,
like
I
Masters
think,
of the Universe.
And also he would have like obviously his own effects studio on it. So that definitely probably would have really worked. Thomas J. Wright, Jaws, Apocalypse Now, in Dick Zicker. What a name. Westworld, Wizards of the Warriors, Runaway Stunt Coordinator. Interesting. Well, writer, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, but hey, this is like a lot of research, and thanks for the list. I mean, you clearly put in a lot of effort to like research and come up with this list of directors and like spending a lot of time thinking about Masters of the Universe. So definitely, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how far away from that episode that we are. When did that come out, Phil? Was that later
Oh, that's
80s?
all. That is
89?
yeah, because that's around the time that they tried to do the big Hollywood movies like that and
Superman
Superman,
3 or
Superman
4 or what?
4, Quest
Yeah.
for Peace.
So, I mean, it sounds like we're still a ways away. So, but yeah, this is, I mean, heck, this is the kind of research, the kind of the details that we like. So
I'm interested to read this
appreciate the email.
unmade Stretch Armstrong film article here. The fact that for some reason Danny DeVito is talked about, I really hope that they try to cast Danny DeVito as Stretch Armstrong.
I'm gonna stretch at you, Charlie.
Yeah.
I'm playing night crowns, Charlie.
But
Night stretches.
like I said, I will read anything, and that is certainly something. So, writer, I'm going to reply back to this. I highly doubt you'll ever see the reply because it goes to a blow up mailbox. But I do appreciate the letter.
Yeah, if you're listening, you know who you are if you sent it. So thanks. This is a ton of good info. It was a fun read.
Exactly. Well, Greg, there we go. And sound effects here of the Sasquatch again.
Okay, episode done for real.
Yes. Whoa, that's fucking weird. That email is weird.
Did you just happen to check while you were like wrapping up?
I usually check it beforehand, but I just didn't today. And
I just heard the podcast and already had this list prepared for someone else. This is like, I don't want to be mean on the what we were like, oh, I said we're still recording, but like, this is like major tinfoil hat level detail.
Dude, yeah, this is fucking weird.
A 50 item list of directors. I mean, it's exhaustively researched. I mean, this makes me wonder, like, we're just scratching the surface of this kind of B movie fandom. Like, this rabbit hole goes deep.
Dude, there's fucking attachments to this thing. I shouldn't have opened this.
You should not have opened this.
Whatever it was. They're links to YouTube. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, they're just like
embedded links.
Yeah. Phew. But still, like, there's tons of links in here. It kind of stinks that it's not a legit email address. I would love to have like a correspondence.
What do you with this? What if it's someone in the know? You know what I mean?
There's no way. This, I mean, I guess anything's possible, but this seems more like just like a really obsessive person, and like this is their niche is like everyone has, like, a lot of these people have something that they'll deep dive into really deep and know everything about and be able to put this kind of thing together. I think this is just someone's thing.
Wow. We've made